and welcome to the Talk Tonight podcast. Today I'm joined by Lloyd and Kyle from the Capollos, and I've got Ben here as well. How are you doing, guys?
Yeah, not too bad. Yourselves?
Yeah, we're good.
I'm
We're
good. So straight in there, how did you become the Capollos and what is the inspiration behind it?
So we started 6 years ago now.
I think so, yeah.
6 years ago.
Yeah,
So essentially, we've been in bands floating about in Aberdeen for a little bit. We had our own one for a while when we were in school, and then we've always been jamming with our friends and stuff. But like 6 years ago, it kind of came to a point where we just wanted to push on a little bit more with what we want to do as musicians. I met the drummer Greg in college, which was quite nice. He was wearing like a Fred Perry cricket jumper, which I kind of clinged on right away when I seen it. So I was like, "Guy looks all right. Hope he's not like a cricket nonce or whatnot." But he's all right. So we kind of just jumped onto it from there. Then we also, it was just three of us. We had another guitarist as well, but he couldn't commit to the actual band itself. He says it would be beneficial if he left, if anything. So we ended up having to go into a forum around Aberdeen at the time, and I kind of put in maybe about 20 bands. It was so wide, man. It was like everything from like the Beatles to like Muse or something at the time, man. And just saying, like, if someone is there, if someone's there, just pick it up, and give us an email. And then about like 10 minutes, it just must have been right place, right time. We got Brett, who's still our guitarist to this day. So that's what we came about. And I suppose the rest is history, as they say.
Absolutely.
Amazing.
So you guys have been around the block quite a bit now for 6 years or whatever. And what has been your best gig so far?
So, I mean, there's been plenty of them, is there?
Plenty of, I would say. Well, I think we agree on one, which was last year. We done a little tour, first tour, like proper tour. We done with This Feeling, was it?
Yeah.
And we done Glasgow, Edinburgh, Dundee. We played England for the first time as well. We went to Newcastle. That was a great experience there. And then we played Aberdeen, came back from the tour. Last date for the tour was a homecoming gig. And we sold out a 500 capacity venue, which is the biggest that we've played. And to sell out was just something else. It was absolutely amazing. So I think the crowd were giving us the drive to play the best we could play as well. So I'd say that was our best gig of all time.
Yeah, it was we were helped out by obviously like some of the other local bands around Aberdeen, which to be fair, Aberdeen doesn't get much of a shout, for its local music scenes, opposed to maybe like Glasgow and stuff. But it's coming up. I mean, it's as I said, we've been on the block 6 years now, so we've seen it at its worst, and now we're seeing it at its best now. So it's quite nice to actually be there and be part of it now. So yeah, the Aberdeen gig was just out of this world. We kind of walked out, and just to hear that, like roar from like fans.
Nothing beats it. Nothing beats it, does it? A homecoming gig.
I know. I'm pretty sure I kind of walked out with my hands like that, like just
giving it the big time.
Feeling the moment, you know what I mean? But I mean, you've got to do these when you get experiences like these, like it could be, the first of many, or for some people it could be the last of. You know what I mean? So I mean, you've just got to take this, like them moments, just like, and like everyone's like, in the palm of your hand. You just got to have a bit of fun and just go for it, do you?
Yeah.
So I mean, that was top drawer, like.
Nice.
So you touched on favourite gig. What's been the weirdest thing that happened at a gig?
Weirdest thing
to happen.
If anything weird has happened, like you might have had a really nice, lovely run of gigs.
Do you know what? They've been quite fun to play. Quite smooth. I mean, we once got offered to play a gig in Aberdeen. It was in the Beach Ballroom, which is like one of the bigger venues in Aberdeen. It was a comedy ball. Oh, you know where I'm going with this shit.
Oh man.
I'm sure my guitarist won't thank me, but he's not here, so fuck him. So we ended up just playing this ball thing. It was part of like the comedy show that happens in Aberdeen. So it was, to be fair, it's quite like a decent event. Normally, like the full ballroom. It just so happened at the time that we went, it was it was like downgraded. I'm sure it was. It didn't sell on tickets, so we got downgraded to like a smaller like smaller room in the actual ballroom itself, though, which was still nice to also be there. We were getting paid a fair whack. It was suited and booted,
black tie
kind of thing.
Nice.
Picture had a fedora on, which I think I was Pete Doherty at some point, but it was all a bit of fun. But yeah, we ended up going on stage. It was one of those kind of gigs, you know, like the comedy was all right, you know what I mean, and people were laughing, but the majority weren't. You know, it was one of those really hostile kind of nights.
Oh god, yeah.
I don't think we were the right,
very uptight, like.
Yeah.
I don't think we were the right band as well. I think they're probably looking for a cover band, plays a lot of covers, and we came on and played like our own songs. And I think the best reception we got was when we played Champion Supernova. Well, I'm
really?
singing along and loving it.
That's when, you know, all the grandmas come up.
Oh yeah.
It was kind of that stage, but the pinnacle of that gig, and probably one of the strangest parts of that night, was we had a set list at our feet. Brett was quite infatuated with my fedora that I had on that night. I was like, can I wear it on stage? I was like, you know, you do you, man. You just, if you want to wear it, you know what I mean? Just play the songs and stuff. Anyway, he forgot to drag his set list up to his feet. So whilst we all started playing our rendition of what was it, Have a Nice Day, was it? Nice Day, by the Stereophonics. He was actually playing our rendition of Rearranged by Miles Kane at the same time. I was going to imagine, you've kind of got that, you know, ba, ba, da, da, ba, ba, vibe, and he's gone,
Yeah.
So it was
Did it come off?
No,
No, not at all.
I had to like I didn't actually. You heard?
Did you have a point where you sort of looked at each other and was like what's going on?
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's not right.
We cut our set short that night. I think
Really?
with that muck up, with maybe the fiasco of the whole night as well. Once we noticed, I think, without also bad mouthing you as well, but I think I was the only person not to have a muck up that night. I think Lloyd played a few bass notes wrong, but I think it's just because of the whole, you know, environment was just so hostile that we put us on a bit of edge. Maybe the run fell before it. At one point, we were playing one of our songs called Solitude, and we got a bit where we're staying on a chord.
It's a ballad, it's a mellow song.
Yeah, and we sustained on the chord, and our drummer Greg was just like, he hit the cymbal.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean, I know.
I was at this.
What?
So that night, I think we all left.
We had a talk, didn't we?
We all left, just £700 in pocket, absolutely fizzing with each other. I think that's the only time we've ever been fizzing with each other, like properly, to that extent.
I think it's the only gig we've ever done it for the money as well.
Yeah, so to be fair, we got a lot of t-shirts made out of that, and we sold them all, so it came back to us in the end.
That worked out, fair play.
Yeah, man.
So that sounds pretty fun, to be fair. So you've released Electrify, your newest single. What has been the feedback? Because from what I've heard, it's a great single, and you're really moving in like the right direction. But like, what has been the overall like feedback from fans and stuff?
It's been
probably the best feedback we've had for a release ever, I think. This song.
It's kind of like, we released Addiction. It's probably like pretty much a year to the day we actually released Electrify, just before a year. There was no reason for that. It was just happened, just gigging, and obviously this been busy in our own lives and stuff. But no, the response we got off it was great. We were actually a bit hesitant to stick the single out, just due to the fact of obviously lockdown being about. We actually really wanted to do do like a tour around the single, you know what I mean, to kind of like push it the way that singles probably should be pushed, you know what I mean, and perform that live and just get everyone, you know, right in amongst it. But with obviously COVID happening, with I suppose at times around the time of the BLM. The BLM kind of movement, we didn't think it would be the right time to stick it out.
We've seen on Twitter that Catfish released, they tweeted saying a rescheduled date for their tour, and they got absolutely
roasted. I think I was one of those. I think I was one of them that quoted it. I was like, not the right time,
out themselves.
So we seen that, and we were discussing like, should we release a song, or will we get hounded as well?
Like
everyone was like, no. Let's not do that.
We were like, do we do it? Do we not do it? Do we do it or not? So we obviously would have to go and get in touch with like our distributor and whatnot. So we're kind of waiting, and we ended up speaking to a few other like musicians who we know, who kind of gives a bit more confidence. Just be like, do you know what? Like, stick out there. I mean, it's been a while for you guys anyway since you put material out. So I mean, just stick out there and give it, like, see how it goes. I mean, worst comes to worst, you can pull it. You know what I mean? Which thankfully, obviously, never came to stage. As Lloyd touched on, it was a great response. We were actually quite shocked to how far it actually like kind of transcended down the UK. Actually, normally when we release these singles, we get like our listens and up here in Scotland, but it really took off down the road, and obviously where you guys are in England and stuff, and we couldn't believe the response. Really, I think what probably did help, which I mean, you can almost look at as maybe a bit of a saving grace for the local music industry, like UK wide, was the fact that Twitter's been such a helping factor with like just retweeting, putting on listening parties for local bands and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Shout EP Happy Hour, Shiner Sam and stuff. So I mean, they've really kind of helped, push the single, just a bit more than maybe what I could have maybe have done on a normal basis. So I think with all that kind of all coming together, I think it really did help, and the response has just been wild. Like messages from people who don't know, just saying like, what a tune that is, man! Can't wait to hear it live. I mean, I can't wait to play it live. I don't know when it's going to be, but I'm sure it'll be it. So.
I think it gives people time to like get used to it as well. So when you do play it live, it will sort of hit differently to
if you're
like touring on it.
won't it?
Yeah,
Exactly.
I agree with that.
When you've got a new single, you're playing it live or taking it on the first outing. I mean, you're like, this is a new single, and obviously, like if you're a band that's playing like like the Hydro and all these kind of bigger venues, you know what I mean? They release a new single and they play it, or they even released it, but they're playing a new single live. People will still like bop away and dance about just because of who's on stage and what it's all about. But for local bands, when you release this is the new single, people kind of just like look up and like, just nod their heads a little bit and kind of like, it's good. Don't know the words, don't know what the song's all about. So I think this is probably like been a bit of a good thing that we can release that, in amongst lockdown. So no, we're really happy with the response. Can't wait to release the next one.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I've listened to it at least 20 times, to be fair. When you released that, I was like, I'll listen to this. And I was like, oh, hello, what's going on here? So like, it just kept playing it.
It's classic.
Big tune.
Yeah, that's the kind of vibe we want to go down. We've often kind of, like we've not been shy to list our influences. Big fan of obviously Arctic Monkeys, Miles Kane. Like we've been down that Oasis route before. I mean, you can listen to like To Be Someone that we released, when we were just coming about, and I mean, it's a great song for an Oasis tribute act, but it's just not for us anymore, and we've kind of tried to hone in our own sound. Like obviously, like it's very difficult not to have your own sound nowadays. You obviously have to like take parts here and there, but I kind of think the way that we are going now is a way in which we're all very comfortable with. We're all very like certain of the sound we're going, the people who's enjoying our music are the right people that we want, to get into the music. So I think we've found our path. It's just a case of, just strolling along. Hopefully it's a Sunday walk as opposed to a rainy day and it's a nightmare for us, you know what I mean?
That does lead us into the next question quite nicely. One we always ask: where do you see yourself in 5 years' time?
Oof.
I know that's quite a big time scale.
Still living at home with their parents. Still trying to live a dream. I don't know.
I struggle with these questions.
I'd love to still be like maybe like on a bit of a more mainstream level. I mean, it's always a dream. I would love to be able to profit off this and be able to just do this constantly and full time. I mean, when you look at like bands like Blossoms and stuff, I seen Blossoms when they played Tunnels in Aberdeen, which is literally like maybe about like a 300 cap kind of
that's mad, isn't it?
like size. And I mean, at that point they just released singles, and although like like Skelly was obviously like still like scouting them at this point and probably pushing them to where they needed to be, it was still nice, to see that, and the level of fame that they've got is quite good as well. I mean, it's like everyone knows who they are, and then you get some people who maybe don't know exactly who they are, but they've maybe heard a couple of songs. I mean, that's a good level of fame. It's like a level of fame where you can walk down the street and go to the shops and not get hounded by people. You know what I mean? That's a level of fame to get to. But I mean, obviously, a lot of these kind of things and these kind of aspirations, so a lot of them are pipe dreams. But it all just depends how hard you work.
How much you want to go for,
and how much you want to go for it. If you've got the work ethic and you've got the songs and you've got the right people who are pushing you in the right way, I mean, the possibilities are endless of where you can actually end up. I mean, as long as we don't join the 27 club, we're twins as well, so it'd be quite ironic if the two twins entered the 27 club.
That's this year.
I know.
Oh man,
it's just hit me that I'm actually 27 now, so.
Sorry, man, still got time.
Not looking good, guys. Not looking good.
No.
But yeah, to end it, we're doing a thing called headline, support, and reject. So we'll give you 3 bands, and you'll choose who's headlining, who's supporting, and who you're just not putting on the bill. So go on, Harry. You've got the first one, bud.
Okay, first one is Oasis, Foals, or Blur. Which one would you?
Well, you're not the biggest Foals fan. I do actually mind Foals.
I don't really know Foals.
I know Foals. Lloyd's quite stuck in his ways of like. Well, no, you're not stuck in your ways, but you do enjoy quite like the Beatles and
I'm
Beach Boys
60s.
and stuff like that.
Well, like a couple. I'm going total off topic here, but like
if you enjoy our harmonies, it's because he likes the Beach Boys. That's pretty much the long and short of it. You know what I mean?
It's great inspiration. It's great inspiration.
In all honesty, back to that question,
I just reject Foals on the basis that I don't know them that well.
In all honesty, though, I probably reject them too, just because I mean, Blur and Oasis. I do.
They're huge, aren't they?
Yeah. I mean, I do love both of them. I think I've went through phases of liking one more than the other. I think Oasis kind of takes the crown there. I'd love to see Blur. I've never seen Blur before. I was lucky to Oasis when we were kids, but I've never seen Blur, and I'd still love to go and see them. Hopefully one day I can.
Headline Oasis then. Support Blur.
Yeah.
No diss to Foals though.
Well, we're both massive Foals fans, so we're both crying internally right now. So.
I'm so sorry that we've done this.
They are worth listening to be honest. Like
they're good.
They're a good band.
Like the first album's really good actually.
I recognise the name. I just like I was going to say before, like a couple of years ago, like the music I like is like what I like, and I'd just been a bubble of modern music, and if a new band came along, I was like, check this band out. I just wouldn't do it. So I feel like I've got a lot of catching up to do.
You got a massive list.
Yeah.
As soon as you end here, you're just getting on it.
Yeah, I've listened to like Blossom's first album, but I've never listened to their second album because I feel like I'm still stuck in a bit of that rut of being in the bubble. Yeah. And same with DMAs, brilliant band, absolutely love their first album, and I've never listened to any other songs from them. You know what I mean?
That's just it's probably just the fact that
you get out my bubble a bit more. I think
you need to go on more car journeys and just kind of just put an album on and just drive.
I'll do it
so the next one, guys. So we got Foo Fighters, Pearl Jam, or Kings of Leon.
Okay, I would say headline Foo Fighters. We're secret Foo fans. Nothing wrong with that.
Fun fact here: when I was younger, I used to think Foo Fighters had 2 singers. Obviously, Dave Grohl's mellower voice and then his hard screaming kind of voice. I thought it was 2 different people. So like, last year I found out it was the same guy.
That's actually you being in your bubble again, isn't it?
Yeah. Literally. Sometimes I wish I can be in that bubble too. I'll get away from life in a bit.
I mean, it seems pretty cushy. I wouldn't mind being in that bubble either, to be honest.
It's open for anyone. Come on, if you like the Beatles and the Beach Boys, come in. I love Foals in there. Why not?
So
headline
Pearl Jam's good.
I guess Pearl. Yeah, that's a club.
That's a club in Aberdeen. That is. Well, it was.
Kings of Leon.
Kings of Leon. I
probably know more Kings of Leon than I know Pearl Jam.
I like Kings of Leon as well. It's a shame that they kind of, the only by the
mainstream now, aren't they?
The only by the night
sort of lost their way.
Like, I mean, when it came out, everyone was loving it, but it just got overplayed, didn't it? It was just one of those albums that kind of just never stopped playing. really.
Do you know any Pearl Jam songs? I think so. I think I know one from the Rock Band game. I think I'm Still Alive or Alive or something like that.
Yeah, it's good tune.
Yeah.
I think that's the only one I
It's
know.
Alive, isn't it?
I think so.
He's got an unreal voice though, hasn't he? Like proper
yeah.
real
Real
voice.
It's a good song. I actually do enjoy that.
You know, I'd probably say, just for a bit of nostalgic kind of music, I probably would go Kings of Leon, bit of Molly's Chambers, and Bucket, and all that kind of stuff.
They're
supporting Kings of Leon. That'd be some good gigs. This, like, you guys should organise them.
Pearl
One
Jam.
day. Dream big.
One question to use was, who'd be yours? Would it? We'll throw in some curveballs, will we? All right, let's go.
Forget your CD.
I know we're standing in front of us a good CD.
Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Good shout.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go. The Charlatans.
Mm-hmm.
I'll go on for your side again.
Yeah.
I met Tim Burgess on a train once. That was weird.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, he had sunglasses on. He just looked pissed off. So I was like, "You're in the Charlatans. I saw you like last week." And then he just like looked at me, and I was like, "I'm gonna go. I'll leave it to it, mate. I'll leave it to it, mate."
One of those kind of like, cheers, man.
Yeah, no. Nice to meet you, mate.
Yeah, I know.
So, Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Yeah.
Your one?
I says
Charlatans, was it?
Charlatans.
Yeah.
And we'll go
Charlatans,
Stereophonics.
Chili Peppers headlining, straight up.
Yeah, mine would be
That's all I have to say.
Billy's, Phonics, and Charlatans, I think.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. I've not listened to Charlatans that much, so
I'm in the same boat.
I couldn't justify them over like Stereophonics or anything.
Yeah, I'd say Stereophonics Sport as well.
Phonics are good.
Yeah,
good.
Kelly,
they are good.
What a voice!
What a man!
Yeah, he's
liquid gold, isn't it?
I know,
absolutely.
Sounds like poppers.
It's funny you mentioned Chili Peppers because we had another one. Chili Peppers was the last one.
Oh man,
we have to change it now. We have to change it now.
What about change it for Arctic Monkeys?
Yeah, okay. Arctic Monkeys, Raw Blood, or Queens of the Stone Age.
Right, okay. I'm straight with Arctic Monkeys headlining. I'd go Queens of the Stone Age support, then Royal Blood. I do like Royal Blood.
It's hard, isn't it?
They do a good job.
That's just the two of them.
Yeah, they do a good job of just two of them.
Brett's shown us. The bass and drums, isn't it?
Yeah.
Brett's shown us.
They're fucking good, like, but Queens of the Stone Age be quite nice if Josh Homme did a bit of a cameo in Knee Socks.
Well, he's done it in Austin. There's one in Austin City Limits that he comes on and does it with them, which is pretty sick. So
you know what? A lot of people kind of like don't like, like the Queens of Stone Age. I know a lot of people just kind of think they're a bit too like.
Nah, not me. I love them. They're my favorite.
I mean, without them, where would Arctic Monkeys actually be?
Yeah, true.
Yeah, it's true.
And I mean, you used quite a fair bit, so.
He pretty much directed them onto like the humbug route, didn't he? And
yeah, and you know, it's a good route to go down. I mean, a lot of people. I mean, I'm one of them. I did like get off the chair, you know what I mean, and just kind of walk away from our Monkeys on that album. I don't know. Maybe I was a bit too young to understand that album when it first came out. It was very much like, Brian stormed through and through. It's still one of my favorite albums. Your Worst Nightmare.
Yeah, it's good.
And I mean, I was just so like hell bent on that sound that when Humbug came out, I was a bit like, what's happened? But I think
completely
it's
thrown you off. Right,
I think it threw a lot of people off, though. I think it took a lot of people, maybe a second or third listen to actually, understand the album and just understand that kind of like desert stoner rock, as opposed to maybe how it was like that laddie kind of running over next to our gardens. You know what I mean? Kind of that vibe. But in the same breath, I mean, everything they've released since then, personally for me, I mean, even up to the Tranquility album, which I think is an absolute sublime album.
It's great.
Yeah, it's good.
Marmite, is it? Yeah, I honestly think it's probably. I like it. I'd argue say it's probably one of their best. 100%.
The lyrics are
good. The way in which it could have been a solo album, but I'm glad it wasn't. Do you know what I mean? I'm glad it kind of kept Arctic Monkeys. It was you could almost say it was like part 2 of everything what you come to expect by the Shadow Puppets in a way. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I mean, hopefully the Shadow Puppets come back. Like, I mean, they're
Oh, fingers crossed.
They did release that song the other day, didn't they?
Yeah, they missed or something.
Missed, yeah.
A banger.
I know.
I was like, oh, we've done it again. Change the direction.
It's gone.
Yeah, they're taking that down. I think some bands, remember the Vida, who was a band from up in Scotland, they, would release some songs, and some songs would come on their Spotify, it was like dance tune. You're like, what the fuck? Like, it's not us. It's not us.
Yeah, but there's another band called Vida.
Yeah.
America or something, was it?
Yeah, and they were just like, kind of like, I don't know, like pop, dance, weirdness. It was just a complete like contrast to how Vida were up here.
I remember that.
But no, I mean, it's all good though.
It's all good.
It's good you said about Tranquility, because it's our co-host's like favourite Arctic Monkeys album, and Arctic Monkeys are his favourite band, so you made him quite happy now. So
no, I genuinely,
he always raves about it.
It's just one of those albums. I think people that don't like it don't understand the vibe in which they try to capture. It's not meant to be for the lads who, like have their hearts and strongbows. You know what I mean? It's not for them. It's actually for someone that actually wants to properly enjoy an album, like a proper album, like a concept album of music.
Yeah. It's to sit down and listen to it and sort of envelop yourself into the world he's trying to create.
Yeah, exactly.
And he does it perfectly.
The first song to the last song, that's the way you should listen to it.
100%.
I wouldn't even take it seriously as well. Like, a lot of folk are like, oh my god, this is not our Monkeys, blah 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 blah. But just listen. Don't think this is our Monkeys. Just listen to the album. It's really, really good. Like, don't take it so seriously.
The thing is though, it's like what is Arctic Monkeys now? They've done so much. Like even AM was a little bit different, but not that different. But I mean,
it's just they're trying. I think they're just trying to they're growing up with their music essentially. You know what I mean? They're just growing up, and every single album's been in a way different. You can almost say that like the first and second were kind of married a little bit, them two. But I mean, ever since then, I mean, they've been their own albums, and it's been nice to kind of see the band grow up. Obviously, Alex has had his personas and stuff like that as well. Like, but it's been nice to see, as they're growing up, the music's growing up. They're changing as artists. I mean, the vocals are changing as well. I mean, these are all just things that like it just happen, and if it happens naturally to you, and you can keep changing.
Well, it's just life, isn't it? Like, you've got to evolve, haven't you? Because if they released like Favorite Worst Nightmare now, it'd be like so like off brand for them. It's like you're in your 30s, what are you doing? Like,
exactly.
I mean, it wouldn't make sense.
Exactly,
it's gonna happen to us.
I know. Like, the songs we write, but I mean, we can't like.
If you make it past 27, that is. So keep your fingers crossed.
I know. We need to write and record. Maybe just beyond the grave, keep pushing songs out.
But I mean, I think if they carried on the way of like Favorite Worst Nightmare kind of stuff, I don't know. Maybe they might have burned out. Maybe it might have just been a bit like the same old. Is it? So I think. Testament to them still being current right now, considering how long they've been on the go for. So kudos to the AMs boys. Like,
definitely.
I think it'll be a while before we hear from them again, won't it? They sort of do a bit and they go under their radar for like 5 years.
Like Alex having on any social media kind of helps that a lot. It's all like totally under wraps. I mean, you might get a glimpse of it if Miles was to like go around and have a cameo appearance, but I mean, it's so under wraps. Like, the whole kind of like idea of him just living in Malibu himself and just like in a studio himself, and
cool, like,
I mean, and it's just his own world, and he can just sit there and record exactly what he wants.
Drinking coconut rum.
Yeah, coconut rum. Yeah, that'd be good. But he's sitting there and just doing what he does, like day out, and just experimenting. Essentially, I mean, to have the time to do that, I mean, it would be amazing. In all honesty, every single band probably in the UK, like of like a certain level, also got other jobs they have to do. You know what I mean? So to have that time to just sit there and just literally have any kind of instrument pretty much as well you wanted to play. I mean, you would create some mad tunes, man. So kudos to him.
Yeah, you've got to take your hat off, haven't you, for whatever going on inside his creative little mind. It's
definitely.
and the fact that like they announced the album and then dropped the tour date without even like releasing a single. It just shows how obviously confident they were in it. That was a big move.
They've got so much power. I mean, I've always said this about like other bands like the Stone Roses and stuff like that as well. Like, I mean, bands that can literally put on gigs without doing anything else. I mean, you could even sell the tickets and them just literally walk on the stage, give a wave, and and walk off. And I think we still sell it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, that's the type of like caliber of bands, caliber of band Arctic Monkeys are now.
Probably one of the last like big bands will be for a while from the UK. Like the way the music scene's going and all that with streaming and all that.
Like, who do you reckon will be like the next biggest band sort of thing? Like Royal Blood, maybe? I mean, they're getting there, I guess.
I mean, it's a good question. It's a great question. I mean,
who knows? It could be you guys. Fingers crossed.
I mean, you never actually know.
You're going that way.
It depends. 27th women, remember?
Yeah.
We don't have a lot of time with you.
I know.
It's hard, isn't it?
To be fair, I think. Oh God, it's a great question. Who am I listening to just now? Like, you would maybe think, do you know what they could push forward?
I'm not listening to anyone like that. I'm listening to Bruce Springsteen.
Do you know what? I'd love to see it because I know
that
Bruce
bubble again.
Yeah.
Well, he's new in the bubble. Actually, I just started listening to him.
Yeah.
You're welcome, Bruce. Come in, Bruce. Come in.
He's not left yet. Bruce is still in the bubble with Lloyd.
He's still there.
But, I think, do you know what? I'd love to see him do it just from a point of view of just like being from Scotland. I'd love to see the Snuts go on and do some stuff. I'd love to see them do it.
Yeah.
We've gigged with them a couple of times. They're nice guys. So I mean, I'd love to see them push on and hopefully, help. I mean, not help as such, but like the scene in Scotland is good at the moment and it's rife with heaps of good bands. But I'd just love to see it for a point of view of a Scotsman, just to see that one of our bands are properly, going forward, which would be great to see. And I mean, maybe it would open the door a little bit more for bands up here. I mean, sometimes you get a bit lost up the top of the island. So, I mean, fingers crossed for them guys.
Definitely.
Well, the Laffins are getting a lot of talk at the moment, aren't they?
Yeah, they're doing well as well. Again, kudos to them as well. I mean, as I said, like bands like this, when they come along, they obviously have to rely on, people, getting into them. They have to rely on a strong social media because that's such an important thing nowadays. And,
it's massive.
I mean, they go onto their page, man, and obviously they've got something mad. They've got mad follows, like
24,000.
Yeah. So I mean, like, that's great for them. I mean, they can push on from there. So I mean, you've got to say, like, thumbs up to whoever's, done the pushing, for them, whether it be like, I don't know what, like how they let it come about, whether it's like, I don't know, Twitter or through different pages and whatnot. But
yeah, I do know.
They just popped up. Like I'd never heard of them until like literally like, I don't know, a few months ago when lockdown really kicked off.
Yeah.
And I suppose that probably helped them quite a fair bit as well. As I said, it's like this lockdown thing, you can look at it as a lot of negatives, and we're not playing, where nobody's gigging, and stuff like that. But a lot of bands have been selling their merch, been putting themselves forward in social media in the right way, doing their covers, doing like the isolation covers and stuff like that. So everyone's doing the right things. I mean, you could almost argue right now that the British music scene for like up and coming, the underdogs, the underground scene hasn't probably been any better than it is now.
Definitely. Well, everyone's got so much time now to sort of be open to it and listen to it. So I think it's perfect timing.
Exactly,
time for you guys, for everyone to sort of shove it out there and see what happens.
Exactly. Yeah. That's why I'm like desperate for like the proper well, hopefully we got a vaccine and see this thing out. But I mean, I'm just desperate to start gigging again. As I said, Lloyd says, we dipped our toe in England when we did Newcastle last year, and we've been itching. We would love to go down further. We'd love to go down to like, I don't know, like just like Manchester, Liverpool.
We've got a lot
Leeds.
of folk asking us for Manchester. We've had Manchester, Liverpool, we've had Birmingham as well.
So like all these places, I'd love to get down there. Oops, that's just a little bad. All good. We're still here. We'd love to get down there and just do a bit more. So I mean, that's the biggest thing for post COVID. Hopefully, it's just go down to England and hopefully just get a bit of more of a following down there, and just keep doing our thing up here, because what we're doing up here has been working and it's going well.
Yeah.
So we just need to
That's the main thing, right?
yeah, exactly. As long as you've got the work ethic and carry that through wherever you go, you'll surely reap the rewards eventually.
Right. So, again, thank you very much for coming on, guys.
Thanks for
It was
guys.
really insightful and always nice to hear like your influences and that. So yeah,
Absolutely.
You can stream Electrify on Spotify and any other, like, is it on Apple Music? Is it?
Yeah.
All on those, all on the all on the jargon. It's everywhere.
So
yeah, and please do stream it, because it is
It's great. It's an absolute banger.
An anthem. I don't use that word much, but it is an anthem.
It is.
And you can find us on all the social media. Yeah, so thank you very much for listening, guys. Hope you all had a lovely day. And yeah, stay safe. Thank you very much. Cheers.